So, guys, this is my review for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 1, Episode 16. With that, guys, let's dive right into this review of this episode. So, the title of this episode is called Lisa Hamon Coach. Basically, Zeppeli III decided he needed to take JoJo to see his Hamon coach to be able to help teach him how to, because he has 30 days basically, 33 days basically, a little over a month to be able to train to get stronger and better using Hamon, that he does, and he decides to take JoJo to his coach, and he takes him to Venus. So, in the beginning of the episode, he basically talks to JoJo about controlling Hamon through the tips of his fingers, basically. Now, this was basically like a teaser to what was to come throughout this episode, where he had a glass of water in his hand. He showed JoJo that if he can use Hamon with one finger, by the way, turning the glass upside down in the water, not spilling out. And when he tossed it to JoJo, he caught it. He tried to use Hamon, and it just like exploded in his hand. The water splashed all over his body. He's basically, you have to learn how to use Hamon with the tip of your finger, even if it's just one finger. So here in this episode, because he takes JoJo to see his coach, his coach was there, and we get the actual meeting. We get to meet her. I get to see her for the first time. Very attractive young lady, by the way. She uses Hamon against JoJo in such a funny way, where she was on this boat and using a paddle. She had a paddle, and then she used the Hamon to stand on the paddle, and then she tossed the paddle in JoJo's direction and hit him across the face, basically slapping across the face. But it was just, in the midst of that, she did like the fact that he could use Hamon because he slid across the water and he was able to keep himself in the water. But she basically was just saying, like, I like the fact that you can do this, but your Hamon isn't you haven't mastered it yet, basically. So they end up taking she ends up taking them to a place called the Hell Climb Pillar. That is basically a part of the Air Suplina Island. She says she lives there, and in this Hell Climb Pillar, basically she tells them, we're going to be here. We're going to have you come in here. Of course, Zeppeli III is basically like saying, like sensei, saying, coach, like, we're starting with this first, even though I don't even know what this is about. I know how dangerous this is. Trainees haven't survived from this. Some have even died from doing this. So she basically just doesn't tell them what's going on until she gives them a boot, kicks them into the actual pillar. And when they get dumped in there, it originally looks like water, but technically it's oil. And I'm just like, oh man, it's about to get real. And we find out that she says, like, the only way to climb out of this pillar is by the use of your hands. Basically telling me that they have to use Hamon through their hands to be able to climb up. And basically the same thing what I was talking about with Zeppeli talking to JoJo about the tip of his fingers, using Hamon tip of his fingers. As you see in the image, that's what's going on. So originally JoJo tried to cheat. He tried to use his shirt. He ripped his shirt off, turned it into like a rope, and wrapped it around the pillar, and decided he wanted to try to climb up using that. But Lisa, Zeppeli's coach, used a knife. She had a few of them in her hand, but she used one of them to basically cut the shirt loose, and told him, like, the only way you climb up is using your hands. You can't use any other method. But what we see here is that JoJo notices that Zeppeli is using his hands, using Hamon through his fingers. He decides to try it himself. And with some success, of course, through some stubbornation and stuff like that, but with some success, he was able to actually climb, get his hands to use the Hamon and be able to through his fingertips and be able to start his climb up. Now, the thing about it is the clock is ticking. The days are basically going by. So 24 hours later, they by the time they climb up, they are because I forgot to mention that the pillar is 24 meters deep, basically 78 feet climb. So it's a 78-foot climb from where they were getting to the top of the pillar. So they got within 24 hours, they got 18 meters and 16 meters. So Zeppeli was 18 meters, which is 59 feet, and JoJo's was 16 meters, which is 57 feet. So, but with that, then we get some very interesting stuff here, which I found was just like, I was just like, what the heck, son? So JoJo's climbing, Zeppeli's climbing. Of course, Zeppeli's kind of struggling, but he's still using Hamon, but a couple of his fingers are starting to get loose a little bit, but he still is climbing. JoJo is still climbing, but JoJo comes across this crack in the pillar, and he gets excited, and he's like, yeah, I can be able to take a break, just to hold on to this crack. When he goes to touch the crack in the pillar, something like pushes. It's like a switch or something, and it's basically like a trap or something like that, and all of this oil starts spraying out rapidly to the point that where Zeppeli grabs his pen out of his pocket and raises it up to the oil that's spraying out so much, and it cuts the pen in like half, or at least the top of it at least. And that lets me know, like, okay, this is very dangerous. They're not going to be able to do this. But basically, worry and fear are running through their brains. But Zeppeli figures out that he needs to just step his game up. He uses Hamon through his feet and his hands, and he pushes through the oil that's spraying out rapidly. He's able to get through there, and then he's able to actually climb to the top. And he's like basically yelling at his coach, like, Coach Lisa, we need to stop this, please. JoJo's not gonna be able to do it. I'm sitting there thinking like JoJo's not gonna be able to do it. Even Zeppeli says that he's gonna do something crazy that's gonna kill him, and JoJo definitely does say, screw it, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Might as well just do it. And he uses Hamon through his hands and I want to say his feet. Everything happens so fast, but definitely through his hands. He actually grabs the current of how fast the oil was spraying out, which was actually pretty cool. He uses the current and it literally flings him forward and out of danger, to where he literally, it pushes him to the side of the pillar, to another section of a wall, and he's able to catch. But with that, he's exhausted, and he almost lets go, but then Zeppeli saves him and grabs him, but he's apologizing to his coach Lisa, that he saved him, but Lisa was just like saying like, it's okay, it's all good, blah blah blah. But such a great episode as far as that goes, with everything that happened there. But then we end up, once they get to the top, and they're, Lisa's talking about, now things get real. Then we get two new characters popping up, and basically she says that these are her servants, and their names are I wrote it down. I want to say Machina and Logs. They pop up. They actually had a glass of water. One of them did. I want to say it was Machina, and he puts his finger in the glass of water, and he grabs the water by his one finger, his index finger, pulls it out the glass, and it looks like a puddle of pudding or water. And they're basically saying like, you want to know how to do this, come closer. And then he sprays the water out into their faces, and they're basically saying, we're gonna make you into men, from moving on forward. But with all of that happening, with everything that occurred, 3 days went by. So now they are there's 27 days left to try to get stronger. So yeah, 72 hours went by since the start of this whole climb up this hell pillar thing. But it was a really great episode. I really enjoyed this episode. It was very intense, and I'm looking forward to what Coach Lisa has in store for them. I'm very curious of what's to come down the line. I'm looking forward to it. I just, definitely felt like they could have gotten seriously hurt, lost limbs, whatever the case, but they were able to pull through and get to the next stage of their training and prepare for, or should I say, JoJo, even though Zeppeli feels like he needs to prepare for the fight too, but JoJo's preparing for the fight against Wamu. But with that, guys, leave some comments in the comment section below. What did y'all think of season 1, episode 16? Let me know your thoughts. Let's talk about some things. But other than that, I will hopefully talk to y'all next time with more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Peace, guys.